right, welcome everybody. Week 2 of Love Hates. So just something to think about is a filter. Some of you use it when you make some coffee, some of you don't. Some of you use filters for different things, whether it's for your oil in your car or to drink some water. The cool thing is for a lot of us, we have filters pretty much throughout our house or in our lives. So one of the things that I thought is really funny when it comes to this weekend as we're talking about having a filter is the fact that my wife has told me many times I need to have a filter or to remember to use my filter when navigating through life. And so just a reminder for this week as we're transitioning into our message is if you are a 7th and 8th grader, we're meeting at 4 p.m. on Zoom. If you're a 9th through 12th grader, we're meeting at 6 p.m. on Zoom. So just remember as we're heading forward, get on a Zoom group. If you haven't connected with the Zoom group yet, feel free to email me with my email address below, and we will get you connected, and get connected with the group. Love you guys. Week 2 of Love Hate.
Have you ever felt thankful towards one of your friends when they said something awkward to you? Like when one of your friends said something that feels awkward at the time, but they said it because they were looking out for you. Like, yo, you have food in your teeth, man. Or, hey, boss, your fly's down. Or, hey, you have ketchup on your forehead. I'm not sure, but I'm just looking out for you. Or, yo, the person you like is like right behind you, so just don't do anything stupid. I have this favorite pair of Adidas that are pure white, like white as snow, and oh my word, they look so good. I wear them everywhere. I wear them to Target, to church, when I walk my dog. I wear them even on rainy days, which is super smart, right? Now, see, I learned the hard way one day when I came inside from the rain. I was feeling pretty good, taking those yo, check out this ice on my feet kind of strides. But then a friend stopped me and he said, hey, Caleb, you stepped in a puddle back there and your shoes are they're covered in mud. I looked down and sure enough, my pure white Adidas were a mess. I probably spent 10 minutes in the bathroom just trying to clean them up. It was a little embarrassing, but I would have been a mess if my friend hadn't said something to me. And I'm sure I don't have to guess on this one. We've all felt this way. No one likes discovering they have food on their shirt or toilet paper stuck on their shoe or spending forever cleaning up their shoes. But when someone cares enough about us to look out for us and save us from future embarrassment, we're left feeling so grateful. Now, let's think about this from the other side for just a second. Have you ever felt like you should really say something to someone else, but you weren't sure how to go about saying it? I mean, think about it. Telling your friend they have food on their face is one thing, but talking to a friend about a relationship you don't think is good for them, or decisions they've made lately that aren't great, is a totally different scenario. Maybe you've been in one of these situations before. Your brother or sister started hanging out with people who are convincing them to do things that you know aren't right, but what are you supposed to say? Someone in your small group acts totally different in group than they do at school, but you don't know how or when to bring that up to them. Your friend is making decisions their parents would not be okay with. Is it your place to say something about it? We all know what these situations are like, and each situation seems to become increasingly more difficult. This is why we avoid having these conversations. But there's more to it than that. Maybe we don't want to ruin a friendship or make someone mad. Maybe we're doing or have done the same things as someone else, so who are we to say anything? Maybe we don't think the other person will listen. Or maybe you have the exact opposite problem. You have no problem telling people exactly how you see it. If you've ever wrestled with any of these reasons, the good news is you're not alone. I mean, we've all been there. We all know what it feels like to know we need to say something, but at the same time, we're also unsure of what to say and how to say it. What if we could learn a way to approach difficult conversations without hurting our own reputations? What if there is a way to be helpful and kind? What if there is a way to have difficult conversations that end up leading to something good? Here's the thing. No one wants to be known as the hater or the self-righteous friend who just talks about everything everyone else does wrong. Instead, we want our reputation to stand out for the right reasons in how we love and treat other people. So when it comes to being a friend who looks out for others, how do we make sure we handle this in the right way? In our last talk, we talked about how Paul said that as followers of Jesus, we're supposed to be known by our love for others. Now, even if you don't consider yourself a Christian, chances are this is an idea you could get behind. Who wouldn't want a reputation people would describe as loving? No matter how tough we want to appear or how trendy hating things is, we all know it's better to be known for loving others. So if love is the goal, then how are we supposed to approach those difficult and awkward conversations? Maybe we should just avoid them? I mean, this seems to be the way culture behaves. We're all just supposed to be okay with everyone else's choices because it's their life. And who are we to judge, right? But deep down, we know that isn't always the case, especially for people close to us. Then what do? Paul actually talked about this very thing. In a letter to a church in a region called Galatia, where modern-day Turkey is now, Paul gave insight on this topic. Dear brothers and sisters, if another believer is overcome by some sin, you who are godly should gently and humbly help that person back onto the right path. And be careful not to fall into the same temptation yourself. According to this, Paul is saying if the Galatians have any friends who share the same values but slip up and do something that isn't best, something that is sin, their responsibility is to help that person get back on the right track. In other words, he's saying that you and I should actually go further than just saying something in a conversation. We should help someone get back to the best place they can be, on track with what God says is best. Now, there's a lot Paul isn't saying as well. He isn't saying that you're personally responsible for making sure your friends make wise choices. And he isn't saying you should put yourself in a position that sets you up for failure when you're trying to help your friends. Wisdom in these conversations and situations is a must. And it's something that talking with your small group or small group leader can help you with. The point is, according to Paul, with humility and gentleness, you and I can help people who are struggling with making poor decisions get back on the right path. Paul continues, share each other's burdens, and in this way, obey the law of Christ. So how do we help people get back on track? By sharing each other's burdens. Think about it this way. In the world of fitness training, there's a person known as a spotter. A spotter is there for when the weight gets too heavy and the person doing the lifting is no longer able to lift the weight on their own. And when this happens, the spotter carries the weight too. They share the burden of the weight with the person that's doing the lifting. And guys, that is what we're supposed to do to help people get back on the right path. Paul cared deeply about the people of Galatia, which is why he wrote what he did. He knew that the most loving thing to do isn't always the easy thing to do, but we owe it to each other to speak up, because the truth is, we need each other. And not just to point out where others may have gotten off track, but to come alongside them and help them carry the burden of getting back to the place they should be. In other words, Jesus' followers do more than just speak up and point out what's wrong. We make ourselves available to be the spotters in the lives of others, to help make right where things have gone wrong. We don't just point fingers, we share burdens and help carry them. Now, again, some of us are like, yo, I'm not afraid to speak up. I don't care what people think. And for those of us who feel that way, Paul snuck in 2 words that would be helpful to keep in mind when it comes to having these conversations. He said we should be gentle and humble, meaning how we say something is just as important as what we say. The loving act is not to sound judgmental, arrogant, or self-righteous. Being kind, helpful, and encouraging shows them that we want to help them out of love. Hard conversations are not easy. That's why we call them hard. But avoiding a hard conversation isn't loving. And enjoying a hard conversation by making someone look bad or feel terrible over what they've done, that's not loving either. In fact, the conversation, that's not really the point at all. The point is learning to ask this question: am I showing love in how I'm treating this person? Love pushes us to talk about difficult things. And love also pushes us to talk about the difficult things in a kind and compassionate way. Because that's what love does. It shares the burden by caring about the person who is carrying it and not about ourselves. So, what is this supposed to look like? How can you begin to put this into practice this week? Some of you might be thinking about a friend you need to have a conversation with. They might be sitting next to you, or you might see them later this week. What should you do? Well, if you're going to choose to be known for your love for others, then when it comes to what you say and how you help others, let love be your filter. You won't be known for love if the way you handle hard conversations and treat others is not loving. So when it comes to helping friends who are headed in unhealthy directions, you can become known for love by filtering your words and actions through love. When we help someone make a different choice than they've been making, we do it even if it makes us feel totally awkward in the moment. When we encourage someone else to change his or her behavior, we need to do it in a loving way and not a judgmental way. When we see someone take a step in the right direction, encourage them and celebrate them. Why? Because we love them. And that's what love does. So, what exactly should a filter of love be applied to? Here are a few ideas. Let love be the filter for your involvement. When you aren't sure if you should get involved in a friend's situation, ask yourself, what's the most loving thing I can do? Use this question as a filter for your next step. This provides a gut check for your motives and reminds you that they should be rooted in love. If the loving thing to do is to get involved to help someone get back on the right path, then you'll know to take a next step. This can be tricky to figure out, so don't hesitate to involve your small group leader or parents or another trusted adult in figuring this out. Once you're sure the most loving thing to do is to get involved, you need to let love be the filter for your words. Ask yourself, how would I want someone to speak to me? And what would I want him or her to say? When you filter your words through love, you'll stop and make sure you're not just throwing shade. This isn't about you and making you look good. Instead, you'll be letting them know you're there to carry their burdens with them. Your words can spark hope or they can cast judgment. But if you filter them through love, they'll be words that can help get someone else's life back on track. Once you have a word filter in place, it's time to take the next step and let love be the filter for your actions and reactions. If you have friends that are having a hard time keeping their lives headed in the right direction, chances are they won't just need your words. They're gonna need your help. You have to choose to filter your actions through love just like you do your words. Ask yourself, how would I want someone to live out their love if I were in this situation? Would you want them to keep their phone close in case you got in a tempting situation? Would you want them to pick you up if you ended up at that unhealthy party? If you were in a situation where you needed more help than they could give, would you want them to tell an adult or professional? Would you want them to say the hard thing and then follow those words up with accountability and continuous follow-up conversations to help you stay on track? No matter what the situation is, if you filter your actions through love, you'll wind up being known for the way you love others, and you'll live out Paul's call to help share the burden of other people. When we let love be our filter, we wind up sharing the burdens of those we love. Does this sound like the type of loving person you're trying to be? We can become known for love when we let love be our filter for helping those who are heading in unhealthy directions. We can be the people we hope to have in our own lives for those around us. Imagine how our schools, friendships, and families would be different if there were more people filtering their involvement, words, and actions through love. We would say hard things to one another, not out of judgment or hate, but out of love. We would help keep each other from regrets, mistakes, unnecessary heartbreaks, or negative consequences. I mean, who knows? A filter of love might just change the direction of someone else's life for the better forever. Let's be the people who let love be our filter so that we can help those we love stay headed in the best direction for their lives.
I hope you enjoyed the video. So the bottom line for this week, just a reminder, the bottom line is let love be your filter. So I hope you guys have your filters, especially at home, still knowing that we're hanging out at home all the time. So have a filter with your family and use love as your filter. Just a reminder again, if you have not logged into a Zoom group or if you are not a part of a Zoom group with Gateway Student Ministry, doesn't matter where you live, what part of the country you're from, email me below, we'll get you connected with the Zoom group. If you're watching this right now and you're part of a Zoom group, go ahead and log on to your Zoom group, or if you're already logged in with your Zoom group, you can go ahead and transition to your group now. For those of you, just a reminder, 4 p.m., 7th and 8th grade, and 6 p.m., 9th through 12th grade. You guys have a great week. Love y'all.